Cabell Huntington Convention and Visitors Bureau, Cache and Cabell, to learn a little bit more about geocaching. So let's go. I'm here with Jake Sharp from the Cabell Huntington Convention and Visitors Bureau. So Jake, tell us a little bit about this event you have coming up this weekend.
Well, it's called Cache and Cabell. It is Cabell County's first ever geo trail, and it's part of the geocaching phenomenon, craze, trend, hobby, game, whatever you want to call it, that is popular around the world. And we have been fortunate to partner with a local group of geocachers and come up with a really unique, fun trail that anyone can enjoy. Grandparents can do it with the grandkids. You don't have to have any experience in geocaching, or if you have a lot of experience, I feel like that we think that this trail will be fun and a challenge for a lot of people. And we just want folks to have fun. We want to get new people into Cabell County. We want to give the people who are already here something new to do. And it's something, like I said, that's flexible. You can do year round, and you know, it's healthy. You know, you get outside and you wind up in new places you've never seen before, and just fun though is the main thing we're trying to do, and to you know, showcase our county, let people know that we have some really unique, historically significant areas around here, and this is a fun way to find them.
So basically you said this is good for beginners as well as experts.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this trail, is its flexibility. We have, here at the CVB, we have a geocaching 101 that you can take. We can hook you up with the right people to learn from who are more experienced. We can, you know, take you on an example or a mock cache across the road we have for people to check out. And so we just kind of tailored it to where it would be available for everybody, all different experience levels and all different ages, and just anybody passing through. You can do a cache on your way through town, or if you live here, you can spend your weekend with the family, with the kids and grandkids, and just have fun.
So you mentioned that the Geo Trail kicks off this weekend, but people will be able to enjoy it even after this weekend.
Oh yeah, like I said, year round, the caches will be in place. You can go to geocaching.com at any time, and you don't have to do the trail. If you complete the trail, which is 15 locations around Cabell County, if you complete 12 of those, you get a special trackable coin, a collector's item. And but if you wanted to do the caches anytime, log on to geocaching.com and you know, find any number of the hundreds that are in Cabell County. I know Barbersville Park is known for their number of caches. There's over 40 in the Barbersville Park alone. So you know, just get online and explore and have fun.
Specific to building this event, how did that all start?
Well, it started about a year ago as just a Barbersville resident used our wvvisit.org, our online portal, requesting communication on geocaches in the area, and I received the information from Anna Adkins, one of our visitor liaisons, one of our super awesome visitor liaisons here at the CVB. And
Anna's sitting right over here.
Shh, I was supposed to tell the camera that. But yeah, and so you know, I just started researching it. I met the guy that reached out to the guy. I thought, well, you know, this other CVBs around the country have started using this as a for tourism, you know, to generate tourism and to capitalize on the geocaching craze. And so we just started talking, and it started out as just something to do for the local cachers in the area, to start a trail. They have these little events called trails that you know, people have been putting together, but this is really gone above and beyond anything we could have ever imagined. It's kind of the local community has really embraced it and reached out and helped us. The caching community knows what they're doing. They've put together a phenomenal trail that can stand up against any in the world. And we're just really fortunate over the past year everything's kind of fallen into place, and we're really excited about this weekend and looking forward to just a phenomenal event for the community and the surrounding area.
Now, you mentioned to me that you're newer to geocaching. So what advice would you give to people who maybe have never geocached before and they don't really know what it's about and
start on
about it?
geocaching.com and watch the video, the 101 video, and hook up with an experienced cacher and let them show you a little, show with you. We went down to the Ashland, Kentucky had a geo trail a few weeks ago, and we went down for some R&D, a little bit to find out what was going on. Me personally, I wanted to experience it and learn about for our trail, and it's like it's like anything else. It's tough at first, but once I started doing it, and it just became more fun, and I started learning more about the different ways caches are hidden, and it just made me want to do it more and more. But getting started, geocaching.com, there's a YouTube video. It's a 101. It's really simple, and just play around on the website, and it'll get you. Sky's the limit from there. It'll get you started from there, and you just get out and do it.
I'm here with Steve Adkins, and he's a local geocaching expert, I'm told.
Maybe.
So how long have you been geocaching?
I started back in February of 2011.
Yeah, so you've been at it for a few years now. So tell us a little bit about what is geocaching.
Geocaching is kind of like a glorified scavenger hunt. You have a smartphone or a GPS. People will hide different types of containers, and you will use your device to go out and find these containers. And once you do, you have already set up a profile name. You write your profile name in that device. You can trade items, and then you place it back exactly how you found it. So it's like a scavenger hunt.
Right. So how did geocaching start? A little bit of the history.
It started back in May of 2000 in Washington. They made the GPS a little bit more accurate to where you can get within 10 to 20 feet. And when that happened, geocaching took off. A gentleman hit a cache, and the rest is history. Everyone started doing it. Within the first week, like 4 or 5 people had already found it, and it just escalated from there.
Okay. So where are geocaches located?
Everywhere. Cabell County alone has about 360 just in it right now. There are caches underwater. There's one on the space station. There's, I think, 30 in the Antarctica. So just about anywhere you can think of, there's probably a cache.
So you could stay busy, technically, in Cabell County for almost a year.
You could stay busy for a long time in Cabell County.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. So what are the different types of caches?
Your most popular type is the traditional. It is just a type of cache, and it's hidden, and you have the coordinates. You just go to that location and find the container. The containers can be anything from key boxes to ammo boxes to Tupperware containers. Usually they have camo on them, and they blend into the environment. Nothing is ever disturbed when these are hidden, and usually we try to do a lot of trash pickup while we're there. So it's got a lot of advantages.
So they're not necessarily like you get to the coordinates and you look and you see it's right there.
No, you have actually probably seen them and not realized what they are. You'll probably walk by one when you leave here today. So they're everywhere. They can be anything.
So there are different types that you try to find?
Yes,
right?
Like I said, the traditional. There are multi-caches where you go visit one location, there's nothing hidden. It's usually a historical site or an educational site. You gather information and you plug that into like a very simple equation, and that will give you the final location. There's also puzzles where people can hide very caches using puzzles, and you have to figure out online how to solve that puzzle. They can be anything from your basic Sudoku to very in-depth ciphers. So could be anything. We also have earth caches where you visit a location, find information about the environment, and we have virtual caches where you basically just go visit a location and take a picture there. So there's many types, and on this trail, I think we've had 6.
So what's your favorite type of cache?
I love virtual caches because there's usually a bit of history, something very nice to see there, and of course I love puzzles. So those are probably my 2 favorite.
Yeah, so you could technically find a type of cache that you like and just find those.
Yeah, I could just go for those. Whatever you like the best, that's what you can go for. Each listing will have a difficulty in the terrain. It goes up from 1 being the easiest to 5 being the hardest. So you definitely want to pay attention to that, because the 5 terrains you can hike a long ways to, have to climb a tree, have to scuba dive, different things. So very, very recreational. You make it what you want it to be.
Seems like it takes a little bit of imagination too.
It does. It does. It kind of brings back the kid in you a little bit sometimes.
So what types of devices can be used to find the caches?
They're popular now are smartphones, iPhones, Androids. Those are your most popular types. There are apps on it, very inexpensive or even free, that you can use. You can also use a handheld GPS. Both have advantages and disadvantages. Of course, the GPS, you don't have to have any phone signal for it at all. You just load them in and you go, and they're very accurate. The smartphones are getting to the point where you really don't have to have a lot of self-service with it. And an advantage with it, you can automatically log your find. That's what we do when we put it on our profile. You log your find. You can do it while you're on the spot. And you can take pictures with your phone and put those with them. And then when you go back and look at your profile, you can see all the places you visited. And it's really neat to do that.
So you have different profile names.
Yes. Yeah, my wife and I have a profile name. Everyone out here, we all have created some profile name. It's very interesting to see what the story is behind their profile name sometimes.
Yeah, so you could meet somebody in everyday life and they could be a fellow cacher and you may never know unless you know their profile name.
Yeah, pretty much. And what's funny is a lot of people know me by my profile name. And I'll see, buddies out that I call and text every day, and they'll call me my profile name instead of my real name. So that's kind of funny, but it's neat to do that too.
So your geocaching personality is taking over.
Yeah, a little bit. Sometimes it does.
So what advice would you give to somebody who, like me, I've never geocached. What advice would you give to somebody starting out?
Find an event to go to. They usually will teach you how to do them. Find another local cacher. We'll take you out and show you how to do it. That's probably the best thing to do it. It sounds, sometimes a little complicated, but once you start doing it, you have a lot of fun and it gets really easy.
So things kind of start to make sense after
Yes.
you've done it a few times.
Mm-hmm. You just need somebody to kind of walk you through it a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, so people probably have tips for maybe what to look for once you get to the GPS location to help you find the cache.
Yes, there's in the listing there's usually a hint, unless people want to try to make it harder to find, and they'll give you a hint to how to help it. And again, if you have a smartphone, you can text a friend, maybe someone that's already found it, maybe the person that hit it, and they'll help you out.
So all these profiles and all this runs through a website?
Yes, it runs through geocaching.com.
Okay.
And it's free to set up an account, and everyone can do it. I think for a premium membership it's $30. You have a few more advantages, $30 per year through it, but you can do it totally for free also.
Yeah. So it seems like it's kind of a low investment, if somebody wants to go out and try it, just maybe for something different to do.
It is. It's recreational type. It gets you outdoors, away from a computer screen, even though sometimes you're in front of a computer screen solving the puzzle. It gets you out, and you get to see different things. You get to have a lot of fun with your friends, your family. My best friend, he took his 98-year-old grandmother out one time, and she had the best time just going out to get out of the house to see something.
Yeah, so it's probably good, maybe somebody that you wouldn't normally have something in common with, you can go both search for this common thing.
Absolutely. You make a lot of friends this way. You make a lot of memories doing this as well.
So I'm sure you've had some funny stories. Have you ever gotten injured or searching for a cache?
I've fallen a couple times, but there's been some injuries. You have to be a little bit careful, of course, just doing anything, just like you hike in the woods or anything. There's thorns you can get into the middle of. have to watch for snakes a little bit, but I've not had too many encounters with those. And when you're hiking up on a mountain, be careful of falling.
Yeah.
So it's just your normal stuff.
So I mean, it makes it probably more challenging because you're hiking and looking for something.
Yes, you have to really not do this a whole lot. If you're looking at your GPS, you need to keep your eyes up and glance at your GPS from time to time.
So what's been your favorite cache that you've ever found?
That's pretty easy, actually. It was a virtual cache in South Carolina. It's called Sheldon Ruins, and it's my favorite because it's so huge. It's an old church. It was burned during the Revolutionary War, rebuilt, and then burned again by General Sherman in the Civil War. And just to be there and see that, part of it's still standing, it's just amazing to look around the entire place.
So how did you get started in geocaching?
A coworker at the place I work told us about it one time, and I got kind of bored one evening and went out and checked it out and enjoyed it. And my children enjoyed it with me as well, and my friends, and we've just kind of done it from time to time.
We're here with Jenna, and she's going to tell us a little bit about some of the different types of caches that we have on display here tonight.
All right, well, the most common one that you're going to see is an ammo box. And these are just really unique. What they do is you open them up at the side. You'll see a lot of these in the woods mainly. You just take that off, and it slides open like that.
So if I'd happen across this in the woods, I wouldn't need to be alarmed. It would just
it's just going to be a geocache, but this is the most common one.
So this is a big, heavy, sturdy box. What type of things will be in there?
A lot of people can bring different things and they can put them in there, but your average geocache is going to have a notebook, and you're going to put your geocaching name in it. But you can see like just little things that people can bring and stop by, and there's some trackables in them, so that's always fun. And people can pick those up and they can move them around to different caches, and you can see where they're tracked, so it's kind of cool.
Okay, so that's what the trackable is. They move from cache to cache. People will take them from one cache.
Yeah,
and
and you
leave
just
them on
log it
another.
on each geocache.
Okay, very cool.
And then some of these other ones, these, like this one, it has a little clasp. You can hang them on like limbs in the woods. And they just look like little bottles, like you're drinking out of.
So this would be, pretty camouflaged somewhere.
Yeah, so you can't see them anything. And I've seen these hung up in trees, which is kind of cool, because they're really hard to find. And then you'll see your average pill bottles. People have these laying around the house. You can just cover them up in some duct tape like that. You just open it up and you don't expect to see these.
Yeah, and they're waterproof. Is that kind of like the
they're
theme?
waterproof, and that's what you need to do because each one has a log in it for you to sign your name. It's a key box. You see these like cars and stuff where people hide their keys, but you'll also see these underneath park benches, which is kind of cool. So this is a more simple one. So if you're like driving across the road, you can stop and just get out and pick this one up. So it just slides open like that.
So this is an example of like what you would find in a cache. And what is that? Is that just?
I think this is just a little coin.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like a little souvenir to get from each one.
Okay.
Some of them will have it and some of them won't, but it's like a little souvenir.
Okay, cool.
So those just slide down in there. And then these are lock boxes, so they're waterproof. You can get these at the dollar store for a couple bucks. And you can just put different stuff in it and it pops off like that. Like I said, it's waterproof, so it protects your logs. You'll see those a lot wrapped in duct tape, so they're camouflaged as well. And I actually have one that's like this. It's like a little vial from a hospital. And what I did was I put a string in the top of it and hung it from a grate in the ground where water runs down.
Oh, wow.
So it's a hard difficulty. But you can drive up and you just like look at the grate and stuff, and you can see like little fish line, which is clear. And it just hangs down inside the grate, and you can see like rainwater falling on it, so you can't see it very well. But this one's always fun. And you can buy these off the geocaching website, which is just like a pill bottle basically. It just screws off. And they all have different size logs. And this is actually a matchbox.
Oh, okay.
You can get these at Walmart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, you can create your own in any sort of way, which is the cool part of it.
So I think I see some over here that may have been created.
Yes. Well, this is probably the most interesting one I see here. This was created by the rats, and that's what we call them. This is why it looks like a rat. They're actually here at the event with us, and they just made a rat and put some hair on it to make it look creepy. That's just their caches. Everybody has their unique style when they're making a cache.
So sometimes you'll find one and you'll like kind of know who put it there by what it looks like.
My father, Clive and Juliana, that's their username. He made a microwave like an old microwave, and you put it in the woods, and you can just open up the microwave door and the cache is inside of it. So they're really unique, and it's a lot of fun. But that's basically what we've got here. We've got some different size ones. Some are bigger than others, but really whatever you have lying around the house you can use.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like anything goes.
Anything goes. That's the fun part of it.
So some of these are really small.
Yes.
So small.
Yeah, they're really hard because you have to put a little tiny log in it. It's a little roll of paper, and you just have to initial it. But these, sometimes you can get a magnet put on the back of them. And you'll see them like on park benches. And they're like 5 difficulty, which is the hardest.
Yeah, I can't imagine like going to somewhere and not knowing exactly where I was and
yeah, I've seen these in the woods, and they've been covered in camouflage, so it's very hard to find these. But they're also a lot of fun too, especially when you have a lot of people looking around. You knock it out pretty fast, but
yeah, it's kind of funny because like people have told us a little bit about the different caches and about how hard they are, but now seeing all the different containers and all the way people disguise them, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, there's some really unique ones. There's actually one called the 5-finger cache, and I've had a funny experience with that. We had to get our whole family, and it's a PVC pipe with holes in it, and you have to take water bottles and fill it up and plug the holes with your fingers, and the cache floats up to the top of it. So really you can just create your own thing. It's all for creativity. So if you've got a creative mind, you are going to love geocaching.
So I'm here with Sir Dave and the rats, and this is kind of part of the whole geocaching thing, is to have your own little unique name.
Correct, a handle, I guess you would
Called
call
a
it.
handle, okay.
Wife and I, it was a Ratliff, that's our last name, so we just used the rats, and we kind of incorporate that into our geocaching too, because we're a little ratty and where we hide stuff. And geocaching, it incorporates 2 of the things we like doing the most, playing with our smartphones and getting out in the community and walking around and seeing the sights. So it's a lot of fun.
So I hear that you all are kind of experienced geocachers and kind of part of the backbone that is bringing this trail together.
Well, Dave is.
That's correct.
That's
We've
correct.
both been involved in it.
Absolutely.
I've been doing it since '06.
Right.
Wow, so you've been at it a long time.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cache that you've ever found?
Well, I went to Brazil to find the last ape cache in the world, so that would be my favorite.
Wow. Was your whole trip to Brazil based on this cache?
Yes.
Oh my.
But it was also, we got to see a rainforest and go to Brazil.
But more importantly, you found the cache,
yes,
right?
We did.
you came back with what you went for.
Yes.
So what's your favorite cache that you've hidden or placed, or I'm not sure what your terminology is for that?
Tunnel?
Yes. I have one placed in Putnam County where 35 and 34 meet, and it's in one of the big drainage tunnels. You have to walk back in there about a quarter mile.
Wow, so that it's kind of a tricky one.
Yeah. People seem to like it.
Yeah.
It's adventuresome.
My wife and I, we took a little road trip. We kind of plan our vacations around geocaching now, because what geocaching does, sometimes you don't know where you're going to go when you go on a road trip. Well, geocaching actually takes you to some of the favorite places in the area. We traveled up the East Coast, up to Maine and back through New York and then back down to Ohio. With geocaching, it takes you to historical landmarks and geological features. And it's free. It's a free app on your smartphone, and you just download the app and take off and go find these containers using GPS. And it's a lot of fun. We have people here that are cachers that are 90 years old and 9 years old, and they all just love it.
So tell us a little bit about the trail here in the Cabell-Huntington area.
Well, we try to pick interesting sites in Cabell County, things that people would come to see if they were a tourist. Blinko Glass was one that I particularly like, and we put that on our trail. And just, main attractions of the county.
Marshall University themed cache, which take you to several locations, have to do with Marshall University, Camden Park caches, the Heritage Station,
Ona Speedway.
It takes you to all the greatest places in Cabell County. The thing with geocaching, we found out, is you find places in your own backyard that you never knew were there. And with geocaching, people have hid containers to a place that you're just surprised that it's even in your own backyard. So it's kind of exciting.
And it probably just gives you even a different perspective on a place maybe that you've been before. You know, maybe you've been to a location, but you maybe haven't been in the drainage tunnel, or you know.
Some are as easy as finding a film container in a guardrail, and some are difficult. I know our buddy Wentz, he has a cache you have to do at night with a flashlight, and you have to go walk out probably half a mile out through a trail.
Well, it's not even a trail, it's in the woods.
Yeah, it's in the woods. Yeah, it's not really a trail.
Fire tacks on trees that reflect off your flashlight to lead you to it.
There's a wide variety of caches. There's caches to suit all needs.
It keeps getting more interesting the more I hear about it, because everyone, you know, like has their favorite types or, you know, different little takes on it. So what's your favorite type of cache to find?
Well, I like to do a multi-cache. I don't know why, but I seem to favorite those more often when they take you to more than one location before you get to the final.
Probably one of our favorite types is, and you don't see too many of them, are called letter boxes. Whenever you open the container, there's a unique stamp in there. And we have a cache called Crybaby Cache, and it's whenever you open it, there's a little rubber stamp in there, and it's got a crybaby face in there, and you stamp your book with it, and then you stamp that book with your stamp. And those are called letter boxes. There's all kinds of different caches.
Different types.
So people can keep coming up with, you know, new types and more creative ways.
It's endless. You never cease to be amazed at the way people come up with different caches, types, and locations, and that's what keeps it fun, keeps it interesting.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's maybe starting out, like me? I've never geocached before. What would you tell somebody starting out?
Well, since you're here, I would recommend getting with somebody who's done it before and saying, hey, show me how to do one or two.
Yeah.
And then if you have a smartphone, you're ready to do it now.
Yeah, you're ready. A lot of people use a GPS device, a handheld GPS, but probably the easiest way is to use a smartphone and just download the free application and turn your GPS on your phone, and you can look at the map and it'll show you right where they are. You just touch that little dot and it tells you it's a mile away, and you follow that.
See,
map
when you say it like that, it sounds so easy. But then when we look at all the different
After you get
all
there,
the
you have to
different
find
caches, then it gets a lot more
The
complicated.
caches are rated from 1 to 5. 1 being the easiest and 5 being the most difficult. So it all depends what kind of personality you have. A good buddy of ours and his wife, Abe and Sarah. Abe only likes guardrail caches. He likes them all easy and 1-1s. And then there's people, they like the challenge and the most difficult ones. And they like climbing to the top of a mountain to find one, you know, in a tree. So there's something for everyone. There's caches for the extremists and caches for the people just like to drive up and take one out of a guardrail.
We're here with a group of local geocache legends, and so tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Joey Saxton, and we are the Spastic Backpackers, and we've been doing it now for almost 3 years, and we thoroughly enjoy it. It's a great family entertainment. We get out of the house, we go and explore the area, and we learn about our area and have a great time.
So it's you and your wife, and then who else is?
I have firstborn backpacker, and secondborn backpacker, and thirdborn backpacker, and then I have my mom, and she is granny backpacker, and even my grandmother, who is her mother, has gone caching with us, and she is this year just turned 100, and she has gone caching with us. So we get the whole family involved.
So it's nice to get to spend time with your family. And
oh, it's wonderful, and we've learned things. And I've lived in this area 50 years, but we've seen things in places I didn't know were here. It's wonderful.
Now, be honest, who's the best cacher?
Him.
Right there.
Thirdborn, the baby.
Or him.
He's really good. So.
But it's all just a family event that gets you all out together and having fun.
It is. It's great fun. We have a blast doing it.
So this is geocaching.com. This is kind of the hub for geocaching.
Right. This is where you go to find out your caches.
2,181 caches found?
Correct.
Wow.
Since 2006. And you can see it's got a tutorial on it. So it'll actually show you a video of someone finding a cache. But we'll just go to play, and then we'll go to hide and seek a cache.
So what's this hide and seek? This is where
You hide one or you find one.
Okay.
So where do you live? What's your zip code?
45680.
45680.
Yep.
Okay. Tells the distance from that zip code, and that zip code is usually right in the center of town. In Barbersville, it's the red light at the corner of Central and Main, for instance. So we'll click on the closest cache that popped up for us. And that is 0.3 from the zip code you gave us, 0.3 miles. It's a difficulty 2, which means it's fairly easy. Terrain 1.5, which means there's no hills to climb or anything like that, but it's not wheelchair accessible. That's why it's got the little half. But here's my favorite place to go. I'm going to head to the map. And all the little smileys are ones I've found. And those are ones I have not. But
You can see there.
you can see all the caches there.
So even in South Point, there's several.
Yes.
Wow, look at how many are in the area. Look at how many you've got to find.
I know. I'm over here, and I still got some in my area too. They pop up every day. And you can zoom right in. You can make it a satellite view.
And does this kind of help you when you're looking for the?
Yes, I use this on my phone a lot. Sometimes you have trouble driving to it because the roads will be confusing, and I can pull this satellite view up and see which road I need to take.
So this is one maybe they said like a guardrail.
That is in a guardrail.
So this is really close to 52. This is the Solida Road exit.
Right.
And so if you just pop off the exit. So does that ever happen to you, like driving down the road?
Oh, always. Stop at rest areas, almost always have them. So whenever we're on a trip, we always have to stop at a rest area and look for a geocache there. I use the CGeo app, which is free on Android. It tells you everything nearby you if your GPS is enabled. And you can click on the specific one. This one's in Barbersville. Now, if I want to get to it, I can tell it to drive me there. And then after you get fairly close, then you go to your compass. And that will take you down to within 10 feet usually.
Wow. Okay. So you can use so it will keep those coordinates in there, and then it just.
Yes, you don't have to enter them or anything on your phone, which is the nice thing because it knows them off the app. If you're using a handheld GPS, you have to input the coordinates. This particular one, you have to rappel to. It's above the 4-H camp in Barbersville. I have not found it because I don't rappel. So it's been found 18 times. And it's been...
So is this where people kind of leave messages about them too?
Yes, those are the logs where people have found them or have not found them. That guy on top did not find it.
If you come to the CVB and you leave saying there's nothing to do, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Because come to the CVB and check out our events list, and geocaching is just one of hundreds of things to do around here. Yeah, that's another great thing about geocaching. You can do it anytime, anywhere with anyone. So
that sounds like, maybe, a month or two down the road, you have a nice weekend, you're looking for something to do. Yeah. We should stop by here at the CVB, and somebody would be here to tell us more about this.
Yeah, we're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We have visitor liaisons on site, and we have a wonderful staff that just loves dealing with visitors and letting you know what all there is to see and do in Cabell County, and our charge is to connect you with that. And this is just one more great, fun, creative way to do that.
And by visitors, you might even mean local people, because I know I've talked to you a little bit about the trail, and I think there's several places on it that I have never been, even though I've lived here basically my whole life.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were realizing is we have a lot of local residents, myself included, who are from the area, who have grown up here their whole life, that just may, for whatever reason, have not been able to experience some of the attractions that folks from around the world come and see. Hillbilly hot dogs is world famous, just up the road on Route 2 on the Ohio River, and we hear it all the time. People just haven't been up there for whatever reason, but that's just one example. Heritage Farm Museum and Village, just a few miles down the road, and one of the neatest, most I guess under-marketed attractions in the country, and you know it's an amazing place out there, and people just, I guess, you know, just aren't too familiar with it. So we're using this as a chance to kind of you know, get locals to give them an excuse to get out and explore and find all this stuff.
So kind of being tourists in their own backyard.
Exactly. Yeah, backyard tourism. That's a good name for that. We should coin that. We should copyright that phrase, backyard tourism.
It'll cost you, of course.
That's fine.